Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Daisy Gates. Now, this will be the second part about gatekeeping. All right. And I want to put it more within the applied part to the elders within the community, especially in, spiritual or traditional practices, gatekeeping through professional integrity, basically can be understood as a way of maintaining a sanctity, authenticity, and continuity of those practices. So, the first thing I want to focus on is the preservation of sacred knowledge. So, the elders are basically like our guardians of wisdom. And before I get into what I'm about to say, I want to repeat this again. The elders are like the guardians of wisdom. And a lot of times people want to be in that elder status, but have not gained the knowledge or the wisdom, or not wise enough not to share things. But anyway, I'm not going to jump ahead in the thing, but all right. So in many spiritual traditions, the elders are the bearers of ancient wisdom passed down through generations. So y'all ever had elders in y'all family tell y'all family history? And then you have some outside people like that ain't true. But you know your stuff that you received from the elders. You know your history of the information you received. Yeah. All right, let me get back. So they act as gatekeepers in that sense of that. So I'm talking it from this sense of preservation of sacred knowledge. So let me say that again. The elders are the bearers of ancient wisdom passed down through generations, and they act as gatekeepers to ensure that sacred knowledge is shared only with those who are ready and worthy, protecting it from trivialized or misunderstood. Okay? Some of y'all may have an attitude because I'm talking about gatekeeping. Some of you may feel some type of way because I'm talking about gatekeeping. Get back in the gate. This is Get Back in the Gate Part 2. Also, the elders, they safeguard the correct rituals, practices, and beliefs. This ensures that original meaning and intent behind spiritual practices are maintained, preventing the erosion. Do y'all know what erosion is? Okay. If you don't, go look it up. Preventing the erosion of their sacredness. All right. So this is some stuff that I have, got some ideas on, as far as, sorry if I'm recording on my phone again. All right. Because I'm trying to get this out to y'all. And all my stuff have been unedited. I just have not really been in the mood to be having it perfect, as like I'm used to sitting at a computer and taking out the ums and the ahs and the pauses. But y'all gonna get what y'all gonna get on this one. So yeah. So the next thing up is the maintaining the ethical and moral standards. And we have this in my grad school program that I'm in for music therapy. There are ethical practices and moral standards within everything. Within some companies, a lot of you may not know, but some companies have to have these ethical and moral standards. So let's get into it. The guidance on ethical conduct. So the spiritual elders often, they set the ethical framework for practitioners. Yeah, I don't care what you practice. You have elders there to sit you down and to give you what needs to be gave. You've seen the movie, what is that movie? Karate Kid. Same difference. And a lot of times, us in the Black, indigenous people of color community, there's only a few of the elders that are left that instill these things, and a lot of the younger generation, it's just a disconnect. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a disconnect, and then you have social media that people think they can just go on social media and just all willy-nilly and say stuff on there and don't have no type of elders around them to stop them from doing the things that they shouldn't be doing. And that's why you're getting messed up and everything. But yeah, so I'm not a person that always had it right. And I have had elders who have sat me down and talked to me and things like that. Oh no, this is the way this should be. And I know let's not get too all over talking about things change. Things don't always be the same. But there are some things that y'all need to be listening to the elders about, because I understand things change, but there are some things that's deeply rooted that should be, that should be connected through all generations. I don't care how much technology or how much things change. There are some things and some practices, some things that you do that needs to stay. You know why? I'm just going to say because it's the foundation. It's the foundation of a building, right? Something needs to be built on it. Because if you ain't had no foundation of a house, guess what? It ain't going to give what needs to be gave, basically, okay? Now, so the spiritual elders, they set the ethical framework they often do for practitioners. So they ensure that newcomers or those seeking spiritual guidance follow the moral codes that the community upholds, preserving the purity and intent of the practices. Like a lot of times, I remember growing up in church, the elders will come forth before the church. They will have a word. They will have a prophecy for you to let you know as a whole and as a church what God is pleased and what God is not pleased with. And some of you have your own spiritual circles, however you connect, and you have certain things that come into that community, certain people that's already in your community that are elders that's telling you. And even right now, we have a whole community of Black, Indigenous people of color, and there's people you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. But that's a whole nother podcast in itself. I'm gonna make a podcast on that because I don't want this podcast to be too long. Y'all feel me? So like I said, they ensure that newcomers of those seeking spiritual guidance follow the moral codes that the community upholds, whatever the moral code is, preserving the purity and intent of the practices. And also, let's get on preventing misuse of spiritual practices. Let's say that again, preventing misuse of spiritual practices. Gatekeeping by elders prevent the misuse of commodification, my bad. Why I'm finna say common? Okay, let me say that again. Gatekeeping by elders prevent the misuse of commodification of spiritual traditions, particularly by those who might seek to exploit them for personal gain without respecting their deeper significance. Okay, there are some people in the Gullah Geechee thing that's not showing people. I remember when I went to Hilton Head. I went for something. It was an annual thing. It was when I had my motorhome. When I first purchased my motorhome, I forgot when it was. I think it was 2000. I can't remember. It was like the teens of 2000, and I purchased my motorhome, and I went down to Hilton Head and to the Gullah Geechee something they had at the center. I forgot the name of the center, but they didn't share certain things that they knew. But now I see that some people, I ain't even some other people, I guess they seen it and now they doing it online. So that's why I need to keep things inside, because people will come cunning into your spiritual, whatever your spiritual practice is, and pick it up and act like it's theirs. And then some things that they do. There's a lot of things. I want to talk about this before I move on. It's a lot of things that Black people, Black Indigenous people of color, that people practice from all different types of areas, from the Caribbean to here in the Americas, because certain practices are not familiar with certain people. They call it that is demonic and things like that. But there are people that may call you demonic, that your practices, they don't believe in your practices. So we're going to talk about that in a whole nother podcast because, yeah. All right, let me get back focused. So gatekeeping by elders prevent the misuse of commodification of spiritual traditions, particularly by those who might seek to exploit them. I'm reading this again for a reason, for personal gain without respecting their deeper significance. Oh, this the main one. Protecting the community. Ensuring readiness for spiritual knowledge. So the elders often assess whether individuals are spiritually or emotionally ready to engage with deeper aspects of a tradition. You got to have levels, like you playing them video games. Say for what was my favorite video game? Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Okay, so you know the different levels of that, right? So this protects the individuals from being overwhelmed and ensures that spiritual practices are only shared with those who are prepared to handle them with the proper reverence. Now, as you can see, as in different tribes and different things, you have King Sierras, things like that, other traditional things. A lot of children are not taught. You have bar mitzvahs, you have all of these different things, you have sweet 16s, you have all of these things because you're going into another tier of your life, and your parents or whoever, you're going into your womanhood or you're going into your manhood, you know what I'm saying? And you are having these celebrations of life because there's a new level of the elders that's going to give you something and give you wisdom and knowledge of your age bracket or whatever you are, tier you are going to, whatever your, how can I say, whatever your, why are we getting brain farts? Whatever your family traditions are, okay? I remember it used to be things where you get a certain age, the elders teach you things, you know what I'm saying? But it was kind of disconnect back then, but but it's nobody can't say nothing to nobody these days. So that's where I see the disconnect. Like when a girl menstruation comes on, or when the boy is going through puberty, just in general. All right. I hope that's understandable from what I'm saying. Okay. So elders act as the link between past and present, ensuring the spiritual traditions remain intact and meaningful for future generations. They prevent distortions that could arise from modern interpretations that disregard the roots of their practices. Let me say this again. The elders prevent distortions that could arise from modern interpretations that disregard the roots of the practices. A lot of y'all want to just jump on these here TikTok. I'm going to say TikTok. I don't know if I can say it on here, but I said it. Y'all over there on that side of town, y'all just doing the most. Y'all are out the gate. Y'all ever went out the gate and left the gate open and ain't closed the gate? That's what y'all doing. That's what. Get back in the gate. Gatekeep. Get back in the gate. All right? Yeah. Mentorship and accountability. So training future leaders. Elders play a crucial role in mentoring future spiritual leaders, ensuring that those who will eventually take on leadership roles within the community are adequately prepared and respectful of the tradition. They provide structure, guidance, and hold individuals accountable to the spiritual path. Who is that young lady? I see her face, and I remember seeing a video of her. Is her name Carr? I don't know who she is, but I saw a video of Shirley Caesar speaking into her, and I seen that she grew up in the church, that she was really covered, and how she was preaching on that thing, preaching in the pulpit at a young age, and how she's singing and giving to the world. So things like that. A lot of people have a calling over their life, and those children that have a calling, God have put special people in their lives to help them gatekeep certain things. Because the elders will always say, what the elders will say, I'm talking to y'all like y'all in the room, like they will say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. My mom used to tell me, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You have an egg full of baskets. She said, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Because sometimes some of them eggs, they don't hatch. You feel me what I'm saying? So yeah, don't put the wagon before the horse. Things like that. Okay. Now, gatekeeping through elders and spiritual practices ensures that traditions are passed on with integrity, protecting the sacred nature of the practices and the well-being of the community. Elders serve not only as protectors of traditions, but also as moral and spiritual guides who help navigate the complexities of these practices. Get back in the gate. Because let me tell you, when they say, Y'all ever realize they say there's a gate when you get to the gates of heaven or you get to the gates of hell? If you going on up to the gates of heaven, they gonna gatekeep. Because if you ain't gonna supposed to be there, guess what gate you gotta go to? Well, okay, get back in the gate. All right. Have an amazing day, night, wherever you may be in the world. You can like, you can dislike, you can share, do whatever you want to do. As long as you came this far, I appreciate you adding on to the little views or whatever. Bye.